His fourth year with the spinner game had started with such promise, a new set of player discs that featured retired all-time greats who were in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Many of the discs were of players featured in a slim hardcover book Hal treasured. They played the game. Sports writer Harry Grayson's fascinating anecdotes about the greats of Major League Baseball's first two generations had captivated Hal with tales of Ty Cobb, Tris Speaker, Nap Lajoie, Eddie Collins, and many more. At first, Hal was thrilled as these great batters sprayed hits all over the field, but he quickly grew disenchanted. There was nothing in all-star baseball to keep them from hitting, no pitching, no fielding. Harry Howman was an inspiring slugger, but the former Detroit Tiger was hitting an unrealistic .490 for Hal after hundreds of turns at the spinner. And that was a little excerpt from the book Fanatics, the unlikely success story of a game that became an American passion by Glenn Guzzo. Check it out. It's a great little book. And I'm Tony Porter, and today we're going to take a look at the advanced cards from the out of production 1974 set. I'm involved in a Nolan Ryan project experiment to see if Strat-O-Matic can replicate those extremes in strikeouts and walks that basically were the stats, were Nolan Ryan's stats for 1974. So let's take a look at these cards and let's have some fun. Let's first start by going over the cards. Let's look here. When you're a pitcher, you get the side from which you pitch in the middle of the card, versus if you're a batter, you're going to get it on the upper left-hand part of the card. So Al Bunbury's a lefty, whereas Nolan Ryan throws righty. Now here, the number you're going to get the pitcher batting card to use also tells you he's a righty hitter. Okay, because these cards, since I believe 71 are now have splits, lefty-righty splits. He's a starter. His point of weakness is 9. That's the number in parentheses. And then once he reaches his point of weakness, all the bullets become hits. And you see he has a bullet there, a strikeout. And so instead of strikeouts, he's given up 2 hits there. Instead of strikeouts, he's given up 2 hits here. So you may want to pull him once he reaches his point of weakness. Now, the uniqueness of the Strat-O-Matic cards is that, especially the advanced side, is that the split side is that it's going to have 3 columns against left-handed batters and 3 columns against right-handed batters. And as you can see, the pitcher columns are 4, 5, and 6 on a D6, whether it be lefty or righty. Now, if you look at the batter card, here you're going to get some data on his defensive abilities. He's not a very good right fielder, not a very good left fielder. He has a +1 arm, which is a rather weak arm, not a terrible arm, but a weak arm. His power is weak. That basically means that he's not going to be hitting home runs, very many home runs off the pitcher card. He will hit them off the batter card, but I believe he doesn't have any. Oh, he does have one here off the batter card. Let's see, does he have any more? Probably hit no more than 1, 2, or 3 home runs for the whole season if he played the whole season. So the W represents his power ability. If a home run comes off the pitcher card, like here, Nolan Ryan 1 to 3, it says N home run, which means that only if his N qualifies him and a W disqualifies him. So what else do we have here on the cards? We have his bunting ability, a C. We have his hit and run ability, a D. Not very good bunter, not a very good hit and run hitter. His stealing is not bad, a B, which is decent, depending, of course, on several other factors. His running ability is excellent, 1 to 17, so he's fast. Later on, I know he becomes a center fielder later in the 70s. These are the 74 cards. So now the uniqueness of Al Bunbury is he will have ratings against left-handed pitchers. Today we're going to be looking at this side against right-handed pitchers. So when you roll the white D6, it's going to tell you, is it a 1, 2, 3, or against a lefty here, it'll be 4, 5, or 6. Remember, Nolan Ryan is facing a left-handed hitter, whereas Al Bunbury, if it's off his card, he's facing a right-handed pitcher. And that's how we're going to do it. Let's play a couple of dice rolls to see how this looks, and you can become a little bit more comfortable with it. All right, so let's throw some dice. Now, the interesting about Strat-O-Matic is that you had 216 different possibilities, and that's what made every single card unique. No two cards are alike, and that's really the beauty of it. Hal Richman, the creator, was really inspired by having that originality or unique quality of every single player. No two players are ever the same, and I really connect with that. So let's roll some dice and see how to read these cards so you can get into Strat-O-Matic. I think ultimately 90% of everything comes off these two cards, and then of course you have one other chart in Super Advanced that you can use. And now these older cards don't have the error rating yet, so you can just use the basic chart with these. You don't have to use. There isn't. I believe I have an advanced chart that doesn't include the error ratings. I believe that exists somewhere, but I've been using the basic chart, and that's been working out fine. All right, so let's start. So that's first you read the. You want to know the column, and that's a pitcher column number. You're facing a lefty batter, so you're going to go against a lefty batter off the pitcher, right? So the pitcher faces a left-handed batter on the 6th column. Remember, you have 4, 5, and 6. And the 6th column, now you can read the two red dice. You can make them any color you want, doesn't matter. It's a 7, and that's going to be a base on balls. What a surprise. Nolan Ryan walks a batter. Holy smokes. So actually, I could start my game. What happened to my... So Nolan Ryan walks Al Bunbury on 4 straight pitches here in the first inning of this game played May 5th, 1974. And I'll continue here. So let's roll another set of dice and see what happens. Bunbury stays on first base. We'll grab the next batter. It's going to be Rich Coggins, a left-handed hitter, another left-handed hitter up against Nolan. I noticed that more and more teams are really stacking their lefties against the Express. So here's the pitch. All right, so it's going to be 5, and that's, again, it's off the pitcher. He's facing a lefty. So 5, and we have a 3, and that's going to be a ground ball first baseman X. Okay, so there's a couple ways of handling this. I believe in the 70s, you had a little stack of cards from 1 to 20, and you would shuffle them up, and you would pick one. Nowadays, we just throw a D20, and we'll look at the first baseman. First baseman for the Angels is a guy named Tommy McCraw, and he's a 2 first baseman, and that's a 7. So we look at the 2. Let me not get it too close there so you can see it. A little glare. We look at the 2 and we scroll down. Ooh. We scroll down until the 7, and it's going to be an out 3, which is a double play. Okay, it's a double play, completion of the double play, 3-6-3 double play. So the Angels defense comes to the rescue of the Express, and a great play by Tommy McCraw. And again, I'm learning the Angels, so what I'm going to do is double check McCraw and make sure he's a 2. I just do it. I think he played in one other game, and from memory, he is a first baseman too. He is an above average first baseman, or standard first baseman. So he made a nice play off a ball hit down the line by Rich Coggins. Scooped it up, whipped it to second, back to first, double play. All right, so 2 out, nobody on, and here's Bobby Grich. So let's take a look. And it's a 4. Again, 3 times in a row, we're going to read the result off the pitcher card. Bobby Grich is a righty. So this time we're moving over. So we faced 2 lefties, which was in this section. Now we're facing quadrant, if you will, because both these cards make up quadrants, right? this time we're going to look at the right side, and we're going to look at column 4 because we roll that white 4, and we're going to add these two as a 5, and that's going to be, guess what? Struck him out. Blows a fastball ball by. Gritch brings him the heat, and Gritch gets burned here. Can't handle it. So no runs, no hits, a walk. Well, a walk and nobody left because he was wiped out by that double play. And now we go to the bottom of the first inning. So pretty much that's how you play Strat-O-Matic baseball. Had you roll, let's say we would roll here a 3. Okay, now that 3 takes us to the batter card, right? Against a right-handed pitchers on this side. It says it right there, against right-handed pitchers. So it would be a 3 column and a 6 result because you're reading both red D6s. So a 3 and a 6, that's a strikeout. So the strikeouts can come from either the pitcher card or the batter card. All right, so now let's move to the bottom of the first inning. It's going to be Dave McNally. He's a left-handed pitcher versus Mickey Rivers, a left-handed batter. So the result is going to come off of the left side of the card because they're both lefty versus lefty. It's usually a disadvantage for the batter. Probably the greatest disadvantage in baseball is when a lefty pitcher faces a lefty batter. It's not so much when a righty pitcher faces a righty hitter. It's almost double or triple the disadvantage when a lefty pitcher faces a lefty hitter. So let's roll and see what happens here. The bottom of the inning. It's going to be Rivers, Chalk, and Bobby Valentine. That's a 4. Another result off the pitcher, and like we said, it's going to be off the pitcher on the left side versus a lefty batter, and then we rolled an 8, so it's a 4, which is this column, and an 8 is going to be a ground ball to the shortstop. Shortstop is Mark Belanger, and I did not put in the ratings for the fielding ratings, and he is a 1 shortstop, so he's an excellent shortstop. And let's roll to see what happens here. And it's I rolled on this side, and it's an 8. So an 8 under a 1 fielding shortstop is going to be an out. So that's a ground ball scooped by Belanger over to first, and that's the first out. So Mickey Rivers bounces out. Next is Dave Chalk. Not a very good shortstop. He's a 4 at shortstop. Very poor. Let's roll and see what happens. How you read these Strat-O-Matic cards. All right, again, it's off the pitcher. It's a 4. He's a righty this time, so it comes to this side. And then we're going to add these to a 7, and it's a splits single. Right? A split single means you have to roll the D20. And the D20 is a 12, and that's going to be lined and caught by the second baseman, Denny Doyle, L4. Denny Doyle goes up for it and brings it back down for a nice catch of a line drive off the bat of Dave Chalk. Not Denny. That was the second baseman for the not Denny Doyle, but Bobby Gritch made that catch. Bobby Gritch. All right, forgive me for that. All right, so Bobby Valentine's next with Dave McNally. Now here's another right-handed hitter. There are 2 outs in the bottom of the inning. Do it one more time, and that's a 4. Again, we roll off. So that's 6 times in a row we're rolling off the pitchers on both sides. And he's a righty, so it's going to be on this column 4 on the right side of the pitcher card. And we roll a 9, which is going to be a split hit. Either when we roll that D20, if it's a 1, then it's a double. If it's anything but a 1, it's going to be a single. What do we do with that? Let's roll it again. So we're looking for a 1 for a double, and it's a 7. So that's line base hit. He rips one to left center field, played on a hop by the left fielder out there, Al Bumbry, and he's on at first. Okay, Frank Robinson is up. So 1 on, 2 out. Frank Robinson, the batter, against Dave McNally. So Robinson hit 22 home runs in the twilight. He's in the twilight of his career for sure. Doesn't play out the whole season with the California Angels, only plays out till I think September, and then I guess somehow he ends up in Cleveland, and I think in '75 becomes their player manager, and in '76 I believe he's also player manager, and I think finally he retires, I believe, or he continues managing. Not totally sure. So it's going to be Dave McNally versus Frank Robinson with 2 out and 1 on. And Frank bats from the right side. McNally throws from the left side. Let's see what happens. Will it be another pitcher result? No. Finally, we got a batter result versus a lefty. So it's going to be this second column versus a lefty. And we're going to look at the 10. And this is going to be a bouncer to the shortstop, Belanger, who goes to second for the force. And that ends the first inning. And that's it, folks. That's all I wanted to show you. I wanted to make it short and sweet, how to play Strat-O-Matic and how to read the cards. Most of the results are right off the cards. I think that was one of the attractions and one of the intentions of Hal. He wanted he wanted to avoid charts and looking things up and scrolling through charts. That already existed, and he wanted to be different. He was very, very motivated by that calling to really establish Strat-O-Matic as a unique game. And I believe he achieved that, made it very, very different. And most of the results, maybe I'd say 90% of the results are right off the cards. I don't know if 90 is the exact number, but it feels that way. 85 to 90 for sure. You just read it right off the card. Now, there's no narrative there. That is the downside, right? You don't get to read, is a deep fly ball to center field and a nice running catch by the center fielder. You're going to have to do that in your own head with Strat-O-Matic. With APA, it gives you a little bit more of that, for example. And I think APA was the main company that was the motivating factor behind a lot of what Hal did, because they were really the successful company prior to Strat-O-Matic coming out and really competing with them and eventually overtaking their sales. It was basically APA that presented a success story that Hal Richman would find as a motivation, and saying, well, if he could do it, I can probably come up with something that's ingenious and that's creative and that's unique, and let me try to bring this game to the tabletop. So he even will tell you in the book that APA was a big inspiration, that without APA you probably wouldn't have had Strat-O-Matic, because he may have gone in a different direction. Originally, Strat-O-Matic was just a card game when it started out, where you flip cards and then you would, I think, look on the pitcher and then look on the batter, and the results would come off one of those. And he kept that a little bit in the 60s and 70s with the little card deck of D20s. He didn't want you to roll a lot of dice, so he said, let me throw 3 dice, and then you're going to flip a card for the splits, or you're going to flip a card whenever you need it. And that's about it. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and keep that content coming. And join Universal Baseball Association Facebook group and all its associated groups as well. You'll see lots of great content. RJL is there, and Kurt Berglund is there, and there's a lot of great people that also post. So thanks for watching. Take care.